The expiry date printed on most of the food in your home is not a legal safety requirement. It is not a warning, it is not science, it is a sales strategy designed by food manufacturers to make you throw away perfectly good food and buy more. In the United States, the FDA does not require expiry dates on most packaged foods. The dates you see, best by, use by, sell by, are voluntary. They are the manufacturer's estimate of peak quality, not the point at which the food becomes dangerous, not the point at which it expires, the point at which the company would prefer you stopped eating it and bought a fresh one. The food industry generates over $1 trillion a year in the United States alone. A significant portion of that revenue depends on food waste, on you throwing away perfectly good food without question. That system has been running for over 50 years. Here are 11 foods that expose that system. They do not expire, they never did. Salt, technically a mineral, but it has been on every human table for thousands of years, and it will never expire. Salt has been used for centuries as a preservative by dehydrating food and creating an environment inhospitable to bacteria. This is why salted meats and fish last without spoiling. Table salt goes through a refining process that removes impurities, making it even more stable. Stored in a cool, dry place, it will remain safe to consume indefinitely. The expiry date on your salt is the most transparent lie on this list: sugar. Much like salt, sugar attracts and retains moisture, which inhibits the growth of bacteria and molds. Sugar also has a low water activity level, which further prevents microbial growth. While sugar may harden over time due to absorbing moisture from the air, it does not spoil or become unsafe to consume. That hardening is a texture change, not spoilage. Properly stored sugar can last indefinitely without any loss of quality. The processed food industry generates over $900 billion a year. The date on your sugar bag is there for one reason: it is not your safety. Honey, stop here for a moment, because this one ends the argument entirely. Archaeologists excavating Egyptian tombs have found honey that is over 3,000 years old. It was still edible. That is not a legend. It is documented archaeological fact. Honey is highly concentrated with very low water content, making it inhospitable for bacteria to survive. Its low pH further inhibits bacterial growth. These properties work together to make honey resistant to spoilage indefinitely. The wellness industry sells honey-based products at premium prices on the idea that honey is perishable. It is not. It does not expire. It never did. White rice. When stored properly in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers at room temperature, white rice can maintain its nutrient content and flavor for up to 30 years. That makes it an excellent option for long-term food storage. The key distinction is white rice versus brown rice. Unlike brown rice, white rice has a longer shelf life due to the absence of natural oils. The absence of these oils prevents spoilage and ensures that the rice will remain edible for extended periods of time. Brown rice gives you only a few years. White rice gives you up to 3 decades. The meal kit industry generates over $20 billion a year on the premise that cooking requires constant fresh replenishment. A 30-year bag of white rice makes that argument hard to sustain. Dried beans. Dried beans are rich in protein, fiber, and essential minerals. While quality may decrease after 30 years, they remain acceptable for consumption. Store them dried and free of moisture in airtight containers with Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers to prevent mold and infestation. The protein industry generates hundreds of billions of dollars a year on the belief that plant protein from a $2 bag of beans is insufficient. Beans and rice together form a complete amino acid profile. Every civilization knew this. The modern food industry would prefer you forgot. Pasta. Pasta stored in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers inside sealed containers in a cool, dry place can last 20 to 30 years. It is made from durum wheat, a hard variety with high protein content that makes it less susceptible to spoilage. Its low moisture content also inhibits bacterial and mold growth. The pasta in its original packaging lasts 2 to 3 years. The same pasta in a sealed Mylar bag lasts 3 decades. The difference is the container, not the food. Rolled oats. Stored in a cool, dry place inside Mylar bags, rolled oats last 20 to 30 years. They work in oatmeal, granola bars, cookies, and a wide range of recipes. The breakfast food industry generates billions, selling you processed oat products in individual servings, with added sugars at many times the cost of a canister of rolled oats that outlasts all of them by decades. Canned meat. Canned meats like chicken, beef, and pork can last much longer than the expiry date suggests. The key is ensuring cans are in good condition with no dents or bulges. The main reason behind canned meat's long shelf life is the canning process itself. Canning involves sealing the meat in an airtight container and subjecting it to high temperatures, which kills the bacteria and microorganisms that could cause spoilage. The absence of oxygen and the high temperatures used during canning create an environment inhospitable to bacterial growth. The fresh meat industry depends on the perception that preserved protein is inferior. It is the same protein, in a different container. Canned fruits and vegetables. Canned fruits and vegetables retain their nutrients and flavor for extended periods of time. Just because the best buy date on the can says it will last a couple of years does not mean that is when the food starts to spoil. The main reason manufacturers put those dates on cans is as a recommendation for when the food will taste best and when the consistency will be best. It does not mean that is when the food becomes unsafe. The canning process itself ensures that the food inside, as long as the can is not damaged, is going to last for years past that printed date. The fresh produce industry generates over $200 billion a year. A sealed can stored properly does the same nutritional job for a fraction of the cost. Powdered milk. Powdered milk stored in Mylar bags in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight has a shelf life of 20 years or more. It works for breakfast cereals, baking, and any recipe that requires milk. The dairy industry generates over $700 billion a year on the idea that fresh milk is the only acceptable dairy nutrition. A sealed bag of powdered milk lasting 2 decades challenges that in a way the industry has never wanted to advertise. Alcohol. Certain types of alcohol like vodka have an indefinite shelf life when sealed properly. Beyond consumption, it serves as an antiseptic, a disinfectant, and a pain reliever. Put it on the shelf and do not worry about it. No rotation, no expiry management. The pharmaceutical industry sells alcohol-based products at significant markups for the same active ingredient you can store indefinitely in a sealed bottle for a few dollars. That is 11 foods. Every single one of them has an expiry date on its packaging. Every single one of those dates is either voluntary, a quality recommendation, or simply not what you were told it means. The food on this list does not expire. It never did. The system that convinced you to throw it away has been running for over 50 years, generating trillions of dollars in revenue from food that was never going to harm you. Now you know what to keep. Subscribe. And send this to someone who threw away food last week that did not need to go.